and say or spell my name right, I wouldn't have to pay for college. You know that pain. Well, hi. I'm Rebekah. I am a student here at Morehead State. I'm an elementary education major, and I'm also recently a published author. My first book just came out last month through Hydra Publications, and it's called Gears of Golgotha. It's steampunk with a touch of dystopia. Think a mix of 1984 meets Brave New World meets The Giver meets Divergent. I think that's what one review called it. It's a really weird mix, but I guess it works. It got picked up by a publisher, so I guess it works. But I wanted to just read a little bit, just give you all a taste of it. Pardon if I stutter, I'm really shy, so. Okay. So basically at this point in the book, the main character, Erin, basically the premise of the book is that 1,000 years after World War III, planet Earth is united under a one-world government called New Pangaea. And society is divided into two classes: mages, magic users, and chemists, or scientists. But I think the names of the classes kind of give it away. The work of New Pangaea revolves around the gears, which are these large machines that orbit the Earth that power and protect the planet. Like, you ever seen those old cartoons with a hamster wheel, where the faster it goes, the more power you get? It's the same principle. And the main character, Erin, is training to be a chemist. Like, her entire family's chemists. She's going to a good school for chemists. And then she's recruited into the Golgotha project, which is the government code name for the gears. And she meets Makswell Sharpe, who's the head of it. And basically her entire world just turns upside down. There's mystery, action, adventure, intrigue, unrequited romance. I think even a couple fight scenes here and there. So if you're into like Mortal Kombat and like fighting stuff, then you might be into that. It's hot up here. Anyway, at this point in the book, she's already in the Golgotha project, and she's talking to her friend, Charlie, who is a mage. Now, normally, these mages and chemists don't really get along. My friend over there, I kind of based it loosely off her. But anyway, I guess here we go. All right. Charlie walked over to me. "Do you know what's wrong with Dr. Ritter?" she asked, concern reflected in her eyes. "Damon?" I shrugged. "I don't know. He always just tried to make feeble advances. I've never seen him like this, though." Charlie frowned. "You're hiding something," she said, staring into my eyes. "You know something, and you're not telling me." I raised an eyebrow. "Hiding something?" I asked. "Why would I have a reason to hide anything?" "Embarrassment," she replied, maintaining eye contact with me. Her stern gaze wouldn't let me go until she got an answer. "Guilt," she continued. "What happened last night wasn't illness. You've done something to him." Heat rose up to my cheeks. My hands clenched into fists. "I've got to run away." "We can't fix this until I know what happened," Charlie pressed. I stood frozen, feeling the temperature dropping every second. "Not again." Charlie's frown vanished. Genuine concern radiated from her face. She slowly reached for my hands and gently unfurled them. Warmth flowed from her hands into mine, running up and down my body. The chill dissipated, my body relaxed. I took a deep breath, allowing the warmth to consume me. "There," she said, releasing my hands. "Are you all right now?" "Much better," I replied, giving her a small smile. "Good," she said, grinning in return. "Now, can you tell me what happened?" I sighed in defeat. I kissed him," I said, blushing. "Last night, on the way back to the bedrooms." Charlie's jaw dropped. "I thought you said you hated him," she cried, her voice bitten by shock. "I do," I shouted, flinching as my voice echoed through the laboratory. I quickly looked around, hoping no one had heard me. When I was sure that no one was paying attention, I continued. "Why do you think I vomited?" I whispered. "It's not like I enjoyed it." Charlie raised an eyebrow. "Then what reason would you have to kiss him?" I opened my mouth but caught myself before I said anything incriminating. "I can't tell you." Her lips pursed into a fine line. "Oh, you just tell me when you're ready," she said. She placed her hand on my shoulder. "It's like I said before, we're in this together. I can't force you to say anything. But please know that if you ever need anything, you can come to any of us." "Not Dr. Sharpe or I chuckled. "Dr. Sharpe may seem stern and unfeeling," Charlie replied, "but that's just him trying to be professional. His aura says more, a lot more." She ran her fingers through her fiery red hair. "But I don't know what's going on with Aya," she continued. She's been tense and cold to everyone ever since Dr. Sharpe left for New Washington. I can talk to her if you want. I shook my head. No thanks, I can deal with it. Charlie nodded. Okay. She threw her arms around me. The foreign touch startled me. The softness of her words, the refuge in her arms. Mother would often hug me, but it had been so long since I felt that sense of security, I had almost forgotten what it felt like to be loved. Her hand rested on my shoulders, her arms wrapped around me like a safety net. I swallowed, fighting the lump that was beginning to form in my throat. But as Charlie squeezed me tighter, I lost control as the tears fell down my face, their salt stinging my eyes. I laughed at myself. How many times have you cried now? My arms in turn wrapped around her, gripping her robes as my body rocked to the rhythm of my sobs. But as the tears flowed and landed on Charlie's green and purple robes, waves of catharsis rolled over me, and my weeping became a much-needed storm after a long drought. Charlie stepped back, wiping my tears with her hands. Please don't be afraid, she said. As generic as this is going to sound, I know you're going to do great things. You're capable of so much more than you realize. There's a reason why Dr. Sharpe picked you, chose you out of everyone in New Washington, let alone New Pangaea. He sees greatness in you. I see greatness in you. Orpheus and Vanessa see greatness in you. I'm pretty sure even Damon and Aya see greatness in you. If you could only learn to see that greatness in yourself, you could become the greatest chemist the Golgotha Project and New Pangaea has ever seen. Her words struck me like lightning. Don't be afraid. Be not afraid. Those words have been following me around a lot lately, I said with a smirk. Because they're true, Charlie answered. If there's one thing I've learned about you after all the time you've been here, it's that you have the tendency to be afraid, to fear that you'll be a disappointment, to doubt the power that you have. She took my hands again. These hands are capable of so much more than you can imagine. Use them to bring healing, to make New Pangaea even better than it is now. All of us, myself included, know that you can do it. I nodded. Thanks, Charlie, I said, blushing at her kind words. I really needed that. I gave her a small, crooked smile. I guess your prediction was right, I added. I think we're going to be great friends. Of course, Charlie replied with a laugh. My predictions are never wrong. I giggled as the last of my worries slipped away. Well, Dr. Vermont's coming back over. You might want to get back to those equations. She started to walk away once again. By the way, before you ask, reading always takes practice. A lot of practice. She skipped back towards Orpheus, her robes flying behind her on a gentle breeze. Be not afraid. I brought my hair back behind my ears. Easier said than done. But still, that message echoed in my brain, a faint light in a dark cavern. I had so many expectations put on me. Was my magic failing me? Was it only hurting me? Wait. I looked around, making sure that everyone was occupied in their own research. I brought my sleeves up and looked at my arms. Both of my hands were scarred by second-degree burns. Long scars ran up my arms. I checked my neck, feeling the familiar smoothness of scar tissue. I examined their shapes, the way they coursed down my body like vines. My magic was leaving me physically disfigured. Why would it do that to me? How can mages possess such power and wield it without any damage to them at all? Were my parents right? Was it truly unnatural for a chemist to dabble in magic? For a mage to learn science? Was this a consequence of my actions? I never chose to have magic. If I had it my way, I never would have chosen it in the first place. But everyone is born the way they are, and sometimes the way we're born can be different, even downright frightening. But rather than fight it, one should come to terms with it and do the best they can. After all, I was always taught to question everything. I never saw the harm that came from magic. I had seen magic do beautiful, wonderful things during my time here at the project. I had seen science do beautiful, wonderful things too. But I also saw the darkness each side was capable of. Images of the riot that day in New Washington flashed through my mind. I flinched at the dead bodies, the blood that watered the city's streets. I had seen nothing but hatred in the eyes of both mages and chemists. The resolution I had made to myself yesterday didn't fade, even after seeing the scars. If anything, it made that feeling stronger. I needed more than all-night practice sessions in that dark, lonely storage room. I needed to focus all of my energy on it, without disrupting my scientific research, of course. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes, repeating the same process of meditation. Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. The heart of the earth pulsed through me, meshing perfectly with my own heartbeat like the cogs of a gear. As I opened my eyes, a calm focus washed over me. A path to the answers opened before me, both to the equations and to my future. I turned my focus to the work Dr. Sharpe gave me. For the first time in my life, I was confident in my work.